Welcome to Zoe Stories. Sister Spell. Now I'm her twin for life. I thought it was just another quiet night at home until my sister's eyes glimmered with something I couldn't understand. 18-year-old Ethan had always been quiet, the kind of boy who blended into the background, unnoticed by friends and family. Shy, awkward, and emotionally fragile, he preferred books and solitude over social gatherings. Life had felt safe in its routine: school, homework, and evenings alone in his room. That routine ended the night he stumbled into Lila's room. Lila, his older sister by 3 years, had always been confident, magnetic, and slightly mischievous. She was beautiful in a way that made Ethan ache with both admiration and envy. That night, she was hunched over her desk, muttering something under her breath, her hands tracing unfamiliar symbols in an old, leather-bound book. What are you doing?" Ethan asked, curiosity winning over caution. Lila looked up, her eyes flashing. "You shouldn't be here," she said softly, almost teasingly. Then, after a pause, she smiled, her lips curving with mischief. "But maybe you should see this. It's for you." Ethan frowned. "For me?" "Yes," she whispered, opening the spellbook to a page filled with intricate drawings of twin figures, one male, one female, entwined in magical energy. "You've always been quiet, overshadowed. Maybe it's time you became someone else." Before Ethan could react, she muttered words he didn't understand. A sudden warmth surged through his body, tingling across his skin, and the room seemed to spin. Panic gripped him. "Lila, what are you doing?" he shouted. Her smile remained. "Relax. It's just a little magic. You'll see she'll be perfect." Ethan stumbled back, his reflection in the mirror across the room distorting. His shoulders narrowed, his face softened, and his chest felt strangely tight. His own voice emerged higher, softer. What's happening to me?" he gasped, staring in horror as the boy in a mirror transformed into a girl who looked startlingly like Lila herself. Same sharp eyes, same mischievous smile, same delicate curves. Lila's laughter was soft, triumphant. "Now you'll understand. From this moment on, you are my twin in every way, and you won't be able to go back." Ethan felt panic rise, hot and suffocating. But beneath the fear was something strange, a flicker of excitement, a shiver of forbidden curiosity. He touched his own face, tracing softer lips, flushed cheeks, and trembling hair. "Look at you," Lila whispered, moving closer. "You're beautiful. Perfect. And this is only the beginning." The room spun again, Ethan's mind fracturing between the boy he was and the girl he was becoming. He wanted to resist, to scream, to run, but his body no longer belonged to him. Now both was taking over. Ethan stumbled toward the door, desperate to escape the spell. But Lila blocked him, eyes glinting. "You can try to run," she said softly, almost lovingly, "but she's part of you now, and she's not going anywhere. I had one body, one life, but suddenly, I was trapped in hers, and the world would only see her." The morning sunlight spilled through Ethan's bedroom window, but the warmth offered no comfort. His reflection in the mirror, Lila's perfect twin, was still there, soft cheeks flushed, delicate lips slightly parted, long hair cascading down his shoulders. Every breath reminded him that his old self was slipping further away. Lila stood behind him, arms crossed, her expression a mixture of pride and mischief. "Good morning, twin," she said, voice sweet but commanding. "It's time to learn how to move like her, speak like her, be her." Ethan's knees shook. I can't, this isn't me." "Isn't her?" Lila teased, guiding his hands to adjust his blouse and smooth the skirt she had laid out. "Look at you. She's in you. And everyone will see her now. You can either fight and fail or start learning. It's much easier if you cooperate." Reluctantly, Ethan allowed her to help him stand. Every movement felt alien. The sway of his hips, the weight of the skirt, the unfamiliar pressure of soft shoes. Lila smiled at every tiny stumble, correcting him gently but firmly. "See? She's learning already," Lila said. "Her walk is elegant, her gestures delicate. One day, people won't remember you, only her. The first public trial came sooner than Ethan expected. Lila had arranged a trip to the local mall, insisting that he, or rather, she, had to appear as her twin in public. Panic set in as the automatic fear of exposure collided with the thrill of seeing his new self mirrored in the eyes of strangers. Each step on the pavement, each glance from passers-by, sent shivers down his spine. Some smiled politely, some whispered to friends, but all eyes lingered on him longer than usual. The sensation was intoxicating and humiliating at once. Inside the mall, Lila guided him to a small cafe. "Order like her," she instructed, her voice soft but unyielding. "Speak gently, sit elegantly, and don't forget, every move is watched. She will be flawless, or everyone will notice the difference." Ethan's voice, soft and higher than before, faltered as he ordered coffee. He felt the heat rise to his cheeks when the barista complimented his appearance. "Beautiful, pretty." The words made his stomach knot, a mixture of pride, embarrassment, and something deeper he couldn't name. Lila's eyes glittered. "See? That's the reaction she gets. You could fight it, but why? This is power. And it's yours if you embrace her." The mall became a blur of public observation, whispered compliments, and subtle teasing. Ethan stumbled occasionally, self-conscious and aware of his every movement. Lila's hand on his back was constant, guiding, correcting, asserting. Afterward, back at home, the emotional exhaustion hit. Ethan collapsed onto his bed, tears spilling freely. I can't do this. I'm not her," he sobbed. Lila sat beside him, brushing hair from his face. "I know," she whispered, voice gentle but firm. "But she is part of you now. And the sooner you accept that, the easier it will get." Ethan pressed his face into his hands, feeling both anger and strange fascination. The reality of his new body, the way strangers had seen him, and the way Lila controlled every detail, it was overwhelming. And yet, part of him, hidden deep inside, had felt something exhilarating, almost intoxicating, in being called pretty, delicate, beautiful. That night, as Ethan stared at the mirror, the reflection of Lila's twin smiled back at him. A soft message appeared on his phone from an unknown number. "I saw you today. She's perfect and I want more." Ethan's heart raced. Someone else had noticed her, and the game of control, desire, and humiliation had only just begun. Every reflection in the mirror whispered a truth I didn't want to hear, yet I couldn't look away. The next morning, Ethan woke to the soft sound of Lila humming in the kitchen. The sunlight spilling through the curtains made the room glow, but it did little to calm the storm inside him. He still felt the lingering warmth of his new body, delicate curves, soft skin, and the unnerving realization that he now moved differently, spoke differently, and breathed differently. Lila appeared in the doorway, a bag of carefully chosen clothes in her hands. "Today's lesson is all about her," she said, her tone gentle but undeniably commanding. "You'll learn to dress her, wear her, and see yourself as her." Ethan's stomach tightened. I can't," he whispered. "Yes, you can," Lila countered, placing the bag on his bed. "And you will. Every moment you resist makes it harder. The sooner you embrace her, the easier it gets." Inside the bag were skirts, silky blouses, delicate lingerie, and shoes that towered even higher than the heels from yesterday. Each item felt like a key to a world Ethan didn't want to enter. Lila guided him to the mirror. "Look at her." "Not you." "Her." Ethan's reflection was startling. He saw Lila's features perfectly mirrored in his own, the delicate jawline, the soft lips, the sparkling eyes framed by long lashes. He could feel his chest tighten, not in fear this time, but in confusion and something dangerously close to fascination. "Touch her," Lila instructed. "Learn her curves, her softness. She is part of you now. If you fight, you'll hurt yourself. If you embrace, you'll discover power." Ethan hesitated, then tentatively traced the soft curves of his hips, the swell of his chest beneath the bra Lila had carefully fitted. Each touch sent shivers down his spine, a mix of embarrassment and unexpected pleasure. Good, Lila whispered, stepping closer. Now, let's learn makeup. Her face must tell the story: confidence, beauty, and perfection. The next 2 hours were a blur of brushes, powders, and whispered corrections. Lila's hands were precise, moving over his cheeks, eyes, and lips. She guided him patiently but firmly. The perfect winged eyeliner, the subtle blush, the lip color that matched her natural tone. When she finally stepped back, Ethan stared at the reflection, barely recognizing himself. She, Alyssa, was beautiful, powerful, seductive. And every fiber of Ethan's old self recoiled at that realization. I look different, he whispered. You look like her, Lila said softly, her eyes glinting. And soon you'll feel like her, too. Every glance, every movement, every thought will be hers. The next test was walking in the new heels, balancing with a sway that mimicked Lila perfectly. Ethan stumbled repeatedly, cheeks flaming with embarrassment. Lila's hand on his back guided him, correcting posture, stance, and expression. You're learning, she said, smiling. But she is patient. She will teach you everything. By evening, Ethan collapsed in front of the mirror, exhausted, flushed, and trembling. But when he looked at Alyssa's reflection, he felt a strange pull, an undeniable connection he couldn't ignore. As he touched the mirror one last time that night, a soft, almost teasing voice whispered from the reflection itself. I like her, don't you? Ethan's heart stopped. Was it him? Or was Alyssa speaking? Either way, the line between boy and girl blurred further, leaving him suspended between fear, humiliation, and a thrill he didn't dare name. Every pair of eyes that landed on me made my chest tighten, and a part of me ache with something I couldn't name. The morning sun streamed through the curtains, highlighting the soft curves and delicate lines of Alyssa's reflection. Ethan, or rather, Alyssa now, sat on the edge of the bed, legs crossed nervously, heart pounding like a drum. Today, Lila had planned something he hadn't yet faced: a trip outside, fully dressed, fully public, fully visible. Remember, Lila said, her voice both gentle and commanding, out there, she is you. Every move, every glance, every word must be hers. If you falter, the world will notice. And if the world notices, she grows stronger and you weaker. Ethan swallowed hard, trying to steady his trembling hands. He had practiced walking, sitting, and even speaking in Alyssa's voice, but the thought of strangers seeing him, her, sent chills down his spine. The first step out of the house was agony. The sun's brightness, the distant sounds of cars and people, the possibility of recognition, all collided to make him feel exposed. Lila's hand rested lightly on his shoulder, grounding him, guiding him forward. As they walked down the street, heads turned. Women smiled politely, men's eyes lingered longer than appropriate, and whispers floated in the warm morning air. Every compliment, pretty girl, so delicate, stunning, twisted something inside Ethan. Shame, fear, and an undeniable thrill warred in his chest. Good, Lila whispered, leaning close. She notices them noticing her. That's power. That's control. That's part of her. And part of you if you accept it. The mall was their first stop. Lights, reflections, and crowds pressed in, overwhelming his senses. Ethan's steps faltered on the shiny tiles. Lila's hand steadied him, and her eyes met his with that same teasing dominance. She's learning, she said softly, almost lovingly. Keep going. Inside, strangers stopped to glance at Alyssa. One barista complimented her carefully applied makeup. A teenage girl whispered, "Wow, she's gorgeous." Every word was a mix of humiliation and thrill, sending Ethan's mind spiraling. Then came the first true test, the escalator. He had always hated heights, balance, and attention. Now, in heels that elevated him beyond comfort, every step felt like walking a tightrope. Lila's hand stayed lightly on his lower back, guiding him, whispering, "She can do this. You can do this." The crowd below looked up, smiles, stares, and casual remarks mixing together. Ethan felt his knees quake, heart racing in panic. And yet a tiny, dangerous thrill coursed through him. He wasn't just being seen, he was admired. Every whispered beautiful, stabbed, and delighted him in equal measure. By the time they reached the clothing store Lila had chosen for practice shopping, Ethan's resolve had frayed. Inside, Lila guided him through delicate fabrics, skirts, and dresses. Each item she handed him, each touch to his shoulder or arm, reinforced her control and Alyssa's emerging dominance over him. As he stepped toward the mirror to try on a dress, a voice behind him froze him in terror. "Is that Ethan?" He turned slowly, heart pounding. A figure from his past, someone who knew him as a boy, was staring, eyes wide, recognition dawning. His cheeks burned crimson, and the mirror reflected not just Alyssa's beauty, but the fragile thread of a secret about to snap. Every whispered comment, every lingering stare, it wasn't just embarrassment. It was shaping me into someone I couldn't fight. The moment the recognition struck in the store, Ethan froze. His heart thudded violently, palms slick with sweat. The boy from his past, Ryan, stepped closer, a mixture of shock and disbelief etched across his face. "Ethan?" Ryan stammered, eyes wide as they swept over Alyssa's reflection in the mirror. Is that you?" Ethan's body stiffened. Lila stepped forward, her expression calm, almost playful. "Yes," she said sweetly. "He's my twin sister now." Ryan blinked, confused, uncertain. Twin sister? Ethan, Alyssa, wanted to vanish, to scream, to run. But Lila's hand on his arm was firm, grounding, controlling. "She's been transformed," Lila said. "And she's learning how to live her new life." The words were like fire. Every syllable burned into Ethan's psyche. The humiliation of being recognized as himself, yet forced to exist as Alyssa, was overwhelming. Ryan's gaze lingered. Shiyua looked different. He hesitated, unsure whether to laugh, stare, or avert his eyes. Each second stretched painfully. Lila's hand tightened slightly. "Yes. She's perfect now, isn't she?" Ethan's cheeks burned, body trembling. He could feel the soft fabric of the dress against his skin, the delicate weight of the heels, the careful brush of Lila's guiding hand. Every touch was a reminder that he was no longer just Ethan. He was Alyssa, publicly exposed, observed, and humiliated. As Ryan muttered something under his breath and stepped back, a strange thrill mixed with shame coursed through Ethan. Was he enjoying the attention? The thought made his stomach twist. He hated it. He hated himself for it. Yet, the whispers of beautiful, stunning, and so pretty from passers-by lingered in his mind. Lila leaned close, her voice soft and commanding. "Feel it? The power of being seen? The thrill of being admired? She's part of you now. You can resist, but she is strong. She will grow." Ethan swallowed, struggling to reconcile the girl in the mirror with the boy he used to be. Each second, each glance, each whispered comment reinforced her presence, eroding his old identity. The next task was simple, yet devastating. A short walk through the mall with Ryan following at a cautious distance. Lila guided his steps, corrected his posture, whispered instructions for voice and gesture. Ethan moved, stumbled, laughed nervously, and felt every eye in the corridor fix on him. By the time they returned to the changing room, Ethan's legs were shaky, cheeks flushed, and heart pounding in a rhythm he had never known. Lila sat beside him, brushing his hair back, her touch deceptively tender. "You're doing so well," she murmured. "She's proud of you. And so am I." Ethan closed his eyes, feeling both crushed and exhilarated. The shame, the thrill, the humiliation, the attention, it was overwhelming. And in the back of his mind, a dangerous thought flickered. Maybe she is better than me. Maybe I belong in her body now. That night, alone in his room, Ethan stared into the mirror. The reflection smiled back with a confidence he didn't feel. Then a soft voice whispered from the glass. "You can try to hide, but she is yours now. Forever." Ethan's breath caught. Was it the mirror, or was it his sister's magic taking full hold? Either way, he realized with a sinking heart that the line between boy and girl was fading, and the real battle for identity was only beginning. Every sway of my hips, every soft gesture felt like surrender, yet a dangerous thrill ran through me I couldn't deny. The morning sun filtered through the curtains, painting the room in soft gold. Ethan, Alyssa now, sat cross-legged on the bed, still trembling from the mall encounter. Recognition by Ryan and the whispers of strangers had left her emotionally raw, a cocktail of shame, embarrassment, and a strange, forbidden curiosity. Lila entered with a bright smile, carrying a small tray of brushes, powders, and delicate clothing. "Good morning, twin," she said warmly. "Today's lesson is about refinement. Every movement, every glance, every word must be hers." Ethan felt his stomach twist. I don't think I can," he admitted, voice trembling in its higher, softer register. "Yes, you can," Lila said firmly, yet softly, guiding his hands to a silk blouse and a flowing skirt. "I'll show you. You'll see that she isn't just in your body, she's part of your mind now. And the sooner you accept that, the easier it will become." The lesson began with posture and movement. Lila patiently corrected Ethan's stance, the tilt of his shoulders, the sway of his hips. Every correction was a mixture of gentle guidance and subtle dominance, reinforcing her control. Each step in the soft heels felt like walking on fragile ice. Every sway drew attention and forced Ethan to confront the alien elegance of Alyssa's form. Next came makeup practice. Lila guided his hands over brushes and powders, showing him the subtle art of blush placement, eyeliner flicks, and lip coloring. With each stroke, Ethan's reflection in the mirror became more perfect, more undeniably feminine. The sight of his own delicate face, soft, glowing, and beautiful, made his heart pound and his cheeks burn. "You're doing wonderfully," Lila whispered, leaning close. "Feel her.
She's part of you now.
And the more you embrace her, the stronger she becomes." Hours passed with lessons in voice modulation, gentle gestures, and delicate hand movements. Lila watched every nuance, correcting small imperfections, praising improvements, and subtly reminding Ethan that every ounce of control lay in her hands. The most difficult part came next, lingerie and intimate clothing. Lila guided him through delicate pieces, teaching him how to wear them properly. Ethan's face burned, body shivering with a mixture of embarrassment and a strange, new awareness of his altered form. Every touch reminded him that he was no longer simply Ethan. He was Alyssa, and his old self was fading bit by bit. By late afternoon, exhaustion and emotional overload overcame him. He sank onto the bed, staring at the mirror. Alyssa's reflection smiled back, confident, alluring, and strangely alive. Ethan's fingers traced the curve of his new lips, the soft sweep of hair, the delicate lines of his shoulders. He felt a fluttering in his chest, a mix of shame, fascination, and a dangerous, thrilling curiosity. Lila knelt beside him, brushing a lock of hair from his face. "See her?" she whispered. "She is beautiful, isn't she? And she will grow stronger every day whether you resist or embrace her." That evening, a soft chime from his phone drew Ethan's attention. A message flashed across the screen from an unknown number. "I saw her today. She's perfect, but I want more. Are you ready?" Ethan's breath caught. Someone else had noticed her. The game of control, desire, and identity manipulation was far from over, and the real test of whether he would survive, escape, or succumb had only just begun. The moment I stepped outside, I realized the world wasn't waiting for Ethan anymore, it only saw her. The sun had just begun to dip below the horizon, casting long golden shadows across the quiet suburban streets. Alyssa stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the straps of her floral dress and smoothing the delicate fabric. Her reflection was mesmerizing, soft curves, glowing skin, and eyes sparkling with an allure that Ethan could barely recognize as his own. Lila appeared behind her, carrying a small handbag and a pair of heels taller than any Alyssa had worn before. "Tonight," she whispered, "we go to the city. You will walk among strangers, who will not just see her. They will admire her, envy her, desire her. Are you ready? Alyssa's stomach nodded. The thought of public exposure, of strangers scrutinizing her every move, was terrifying. But Lila's calm presence, the reassuring touch on her arm, grounded her, forcing her to take the first step. As they walked to the car, Alyssa noticed the subtle stares of neighbors and passers-by. Every glance reminded her, she wasn't Ethan anymore. She was Alyssa, and her body, her face, her gestures belonged to Lila's vision now. At the city mall, the crowds pressed around them. The click of her heels on the marble floors sounded impossibly loud in her ears. Lila's hand rested lightly on her lower back, guiding her through the mass of people. "Remember," Lila murmured, "every step, every glance, every smile is hers. Confidence will protect her and tempt them." Alyssa's heart raced as people turned to look. Compliments flowed from strangers. "You look amazing. Such a pretty girl." Each word felt like a mixture of humiliation and forbidden pleasure. She flushed, ducked her gaze, and yet couldn't deny the thrill of being admired. A store clerk asked if she wanted to try a new dress. Lila's sly smile encouraged her. "Yes, she does. You'll see how powerful she is when she commands attention effortlessly." Inside the fitting room, Alyssa changed quickly, feeling the soft fabric against her skin, the tight embrace of the new dress shaping her body. She peeked through the small mirror, catching the reflection of herself as others might see her, delicate, alluring, and undeniably feminine. As she stepped out, another shock hit her. A group of young men nearby whispered and glanced her way, their expressions a mix of surprise and admiration. Alyssa's cheeks burned. She wanted to flee, to hide. And yet, a strange exhilaration coursed through her body. One of the men approached, eyes lingering. "Hey, you're gorgeous," he said, a hint of awe in his voice. Alyssa froze. Her voice caught in her throat, a high, soft tone barely emerging. "Thank you." Lila's hand pressed lightly on her shoulder.
"See?"
She commands attention without effort. You only need to let her show the world. By the time they left the store, Alyssa's legs were trembling, heart racing, mind a whirlwind of fear, shame, and a thrilling curiosity she couldn't name. Lila guided her to a quiet cafe nearby to recover, whispering praises and corrections, blending control with care. As Alyssa sipped her drink, she felt a sudden, shocking presence. A familiar voice from the past called out across the room. "Ethan, is that really you?" Her body froze, cheeks flaming. The world she had been learning to navigate as Alyssa was suddenly threatened by the past, and the delicate line between boy and girl, shame and thrill, was about to shatter. The moment he spoke my old name, everything I'd built as her threatened to collapse. Alyssa froze as Ryan's voice echoed across the cafe. "Ethan, is that really you?" Her heart skipped a beat. The delicate balance she had been maintaining between shame, fascination, and tentative pride shattered instantly. Heat rushed to her cheeks, and she felt her legs weaken. For the first time, being Alyssa in public didn't feel like power, it felt like exposure. Lila's hand on her back was steady, but her eyes gleamed with a mix of amusement and dominance. "She's here," Lila said softly, leaning close. "And now, she'll learn to survive scrutiny or crumble." Alyssa's voice trembled as she whispered, I'm not," but the words caught in her throat. She had no choice now. The world only saw Alyssa. Ethan, the boy, was slipping further away with every heartbeat. Ryan approached cautiously, confusion and curiosity written across his face.
I don't understand."
"You look different, but your eyes." The flood of attention, the recognition, the fear of being exposed, all pressed on her chest like a physical weight. Tears stung her eyes as she felt herself unraveling. She wanted to flee, to hide, to be herself again, but the mirror in her mind reflected Lila's guidance, her careful shaping of Alyssa's body, gestures, and expression. Lila's voice cut through the chaos. "Look at me." Alyssa raised her gaze, meeting Lila's eyes. The calm, controlling presence of her sister grounded her, even as panic threatened to consume her. You are Alyssa now, Lila whispered. Ethan is gone, and he can't help you. But she can survive this. She can thrive. You only need to let her. Alyssa's legs shook as Ryan reached closer, curiosity and admiration flickering across his expression. The adrenaline, fear, and humiliation combined into a strange, dizzying thrill. She realized with horror and fascination that being noticed, being admired, felt intoxicating. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she muttered. I can't. You can, Lila said firmly, brushing her hair from her face. She can. And she will. Every challenge, every stare, every whisper is part of her learning. The world will see her, and she will grow stronger. Alyssa's knees buckled, and she sank into the chair, hands trembling. Ryan's gaze softened, unsure whether to comfort or recoil. The world had shifted. Ethan had vanished. Alyssa existed fully, painfully, and vulnerably. As Alyssa wiped her tears and tried to steady her breath, Lila whispered into her ear, almost tenderly. Tomorrow we take the next step. The world will not only see her, it will demand her. And you'll have no choice but to obey. Alyssa's stomach twisted with fear and a dangerous, magnetic curiosity. Could she survive the next day as Alyssa? Or would she lose Ethan entirely, forever swallowed by the persona Lila had crafted? For the first time, I realized it wasn't just strangers who noticed me, it was a world that would expect her, and only her. The following evening, Lila had prepared Alyssa for another challenge, her first gathering among friends and acquaintances, a subtle test to see how fully she could embody her new identity in a social setting. Alyssa sat in front of the mirror, Lila carefully brushing her long hair and adjusting the delicate earrings she had chosen. Every glance at her reflection made her stomach twist. She had grown accustomed to the mirror, to the face that wasn't truly hers, yet every new outfit, every accessory, and every hint of perfection reminded her she was no longer Ethan. Tonight, Lila said softly, her fingers grazing Alyssa's shoulder, the world will see her. You will smile, laugh, speak, but always as her. If you falter, everyone will see what you truly are. If you succeed, she grows stronger, and so will you. Alyssa's chest tightened. The thought of social scrutiny, of friends and strangers examining her body and voice, made her tremble. And yet a small, dangerous thrill ran through her, a curiosity she couldn't name. The car ride was silent, tension crackling between them. Alyssa's legs were crossed tightly, heels pressing into her calves, hands fidgeting in her lap. Lila reached over, lightly brushing her hand along Alyssa's. Relax, she whispered, or at least pretend to.
She knows how to act.
Follow her lead. The venue was a cozy, upscale cafe. As they entered, Alyssa immediately felt the eyes on her. Friends, peers, and a few strangers greeted Lila warmly. And then, there was the moment of recognition, the split-second hesitation of a familiar gaze as they registered Alyssa's presence. Lila guided her to a seat, subtly correcting posture, tilt of the head, and even hand placement. Speak softly, laugh lightly, she instructed. She is charming, approachable, delicate. You are only the vessel. Alyssa's voice emerged high and soft, unfamiliar even to her own ears. Hi, it's nice to see everyone, she managed. Her words were met with smiles and polite compliments, some lingering, some barely concealed curiosity. As conversation flowed, Alyssa felt herself struggling to keep up. Every compliment felt like both humiliation and validation. You look stunning tonight. Your dress is beautiful. She flushed at each word, trembling with a mixture of shame and a forbidden thrill. Lila remained close, whispering occasional corrections, adjusting Alyssa's posture subtly, guiding her gestures and expressions. Each touch, each whispered instruction, reinforced Lila's control and Alyssa's growing dependence on her guidance. Then came a subtle challenge. A young man approached Alyssa, a friend of one of Lila's acquaintances. His eyes lingered, admiration clear. You're amazing, he said softly. Alyssa froze, cheeks burning. The thrill, humiliation, and fear collided violently. Lila's hand rested lightly on her back, grounding her. "Smile," Lila whispered. "She enjoys attention, doesn't she? That's part of her strength." Alyssa forced a smile, a soft laugh escaping her lips. Somewhere deep inside, a small part of her, the part that remembered Ethan, recoiled in shame. Yet another part, hidden and raw, responded with a rush of excitement she couldn't name. As the night wore on, Alyssa found herself more comfortable with the attention, more aware of her body, her voice, and her presence. And yet, every compliment, every lingering glance, every whisper reminded her the line between Ethan and Alyssa was disappearing. Later, as Lila led her outside for a quiet walk under the stars, Alyssa's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "I saw her tonight, she's perfect. But do you really belong to her? Or is there still a part of him left?" Alyssa froze. The words cut deep, threatening to unravel her, and the realization hit. Her secret world was now exposed, and someone outside Lila's control was watching. Every glance felt like a challenge, every touch like a test, and I couldn't tell if I wanted to resist or surrender. The cool evening air kissed Alyssa's cheeks as she followed Lila through the softly lit streets. Her heels clicked rhythmically on the pavement, each step a reminder of the delicate, unfamiliar body she now inhabited. Every movement felt heightened, exaggerated, every sway of her hips a signal to the world that she was no longer Ethan, no longer the boy who once walked unnoticed. Lila's hand brushed lightly along Alyssa's lower back, subtle but grounding. "She's noticed," Lila whispered. "The world notices her now, and they will want more. Can you handle it?" Alyssa's chest tightened. I don't know," she admitted softly, her voice higher, softer, almost alien to her own ears. Lila's lips curved into a teasing smile. "Then we will learn together." They entered a small, upscale cafe that buzzed with life. People's eyes followed them as they moved through the room. Alyssa could feel the heat rising in her cheeks with each glance, each passing comment. Compliments came easily now. "She's stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. What a presence." Each word was a blade and a bomb simultaneously, shame, thrill, fear, and fascination swirling in her chest. Then a young man, casually leaning against the counter, caught her attention. He didn't just glance, he stared lingering, with a gaze that mixed admiration and desire. Alyssa froze, cheeks aflame, legs trembling under the weight of her high heels. Lila's voice was calm in her ear, a soft anchor. "She notices him. Let her. Feel it. Every reaction is part of her transformation." Alyssa's heartbeat raced. The man's gaze sent shivers down her spine. He approached slowly, voice low and warm. "You're incredible. Absolutely beautiful." Alyssa's lips parted, voice catching. Thank you." The words felt heavy, alien, and thrilling all at once. Her mind screamed in panic. "I'm Ethan. I'm not supposed to feel this." Yet, her body betrayed her, warmth spreading through her chest, an involuntary shiver of excitement rippling down her spine. Lila's hand on her shoulder tightened subtly, a reminder of control.
"See?
She can command attention without a word. She can captivate, charm, allure. And you're learning to embrace it." Alyssa's fingers fidgeted with the hem of her dress, trembling between wanting to flee and wanting to linger, to feel the pull of desire and attention that was hers to wield, yet somehow not hers to claim. The young man smiled, leaning slightly closer. "Can I sit with you for a moment?" Alyssa hesitated, heart pounding violently. The world outside Lila's control threatened to intrude. And yet, with Lila's calm presence grounding her, she found herself nodding. She sat, hands folded delicately in her lap, trying to control the tremor of her voice, the quiver of her body. Every word they exchanged was a lesson. Lila whispered occasional guidance, correcting posture, hand placement, and gaze. Alyssa's confidence grew minutely with each passing second, though the undercurrent of fear and shame remained strong. As the young man leaned slightly closer, Alyssa's phone buzzed in her pocket. A new message flashed. I saw you tonight, she's perfect. But can you resist what everyone wants from her? Or will you surrender completely? Alyssa's breath caught. The outside world was no longer safe. The thrill of attention had become a dangerous temptation, and the line between control and surrender, shame and desire, blurred dangerously. The world wasn't just watching her, it was daring her to break, and every instinct screamed to resist. The next morning, Alyssa awoke to sunlight filtering through the curtains, warming her skin and highlighting the curves that had become all too familiar. Her reflection in the mirror held a strange power over her, a beauty she had never possessed, a confidence that wasn't fully hers, yet was growing by the day. Lila entered the room with a soft hum of satisfaction. Today, she said, laying out an array of outfits, we test how far she can go. Public, attention, desire, and control. Are you ready, twin? Alyssa's stomach churned. The memory of last night's cafe, the lingering gaze of the young man, and the text message warning her of temptation still burned in her mind. Her voice trembled. I think so. Lila's eyes softened briefly, then sharpened with resolve. You will go, and you will see what it means to be her fully. There's no hiding now. They entered the city once more, Alyssa's heels clicking purposefully on the pavement. The day was warmer, the streets busier, and the world more observant. Lila guided her with a gentle hand on the lower back, subtly reinforcing posture, movements, and gestures. Every step was scrutinized, every glance catalogued. Inside a chic boutique, Alyssa felt the first real test. A group of young women noticed her presence immediately, whispering softly among themselves. Wow, she's gorgeous. Who is she? Alyssa's cheeks flushed crimson. Lila's hand steadied her, whispering, she hears them. Let her feel it. Let her learn the power of being admired and envied. The women approached, smiling warmly. Compliments poured out. Your dress is amazing. Love your makeup. Each word was a dagger and a caress, mixing humiliation with an addictive thrill. Then, the boutique door opened again. A familiar figure appeared, a boy from Alyssa's past who once teased Ethan relentlessly. His eyes widened as he recognized her, a stunned pause hanging in the air. Alyssa's heart lurched. Could she survive this recognition without breaking? Lila's hand on her arm was firm. She's hers. She is Alyssa. Remember that. Every stare, every word, is a test. Pass it, and she grows stronger. Fail, and Ethan's shadow returns. Alyssa forced a polite smile, voice soft yet confident. Hi, it's nice to see you. The boy blinked, uncertain, then smiled awkwardly. You look amazing. Alyssa's chest tightened. She wanted to run, to hide her face, to retreat into the comfort of her old self. And yet, a small thrill whispered through her. They admired her. They saw her beauty. Lila leaned closer, her voice a silken thread of dominance. She's learning. See how easily she commands attention now. Every look is part of her transformation. Every compliment, a chain binding her more tightly to her new identity. The afternoon stretched on with subtle challenges, walking through crowded streets, receiving compliments, resisting the urge to flee from recognition. Alyssa's body and mind grew fatigued, yet strangely, her confidence strengthened. Every stare, every whisper, every hint of desire became a lesson in power and submission. As the day ended and Alyssa returned home, her phone buzzed again. The message was short but piercing. You're out there, she's beautiful. But she belongs to me too. Are you ready for what comes next? Alyssa froze, stomach twisting. The outside world was no longer passive. It was testing her limits, daring her to surrender fully, and she realized the struggle between Ethan and Alyssa was approaching a breaking point. Every pair of eyes in the room seemed to strip me bare, revealing who I truly was and who I could no longer hide from. The following day, Lila had planned another outing, this time to a bustling shopping plaza, where crowds and peers would provide Alyssa with her harshest test yet. Every step outside the familiar walls of home and small cafes felt like walking a tightrope, balancing between shame, exposure, and the intoxicating thrill of attention. Alyssa adjusted her hair nervously in the mirror, smoothing the soft waves that framed her face. Her dress hugged her curves perfectly, flowing delicately with every movement. Lila approached, holding a pair of heels higher than any Alyssa had worn before. "Today, she will be seen by many," Lila said softly. "And every glance will be a lesson. Are you ready?" Alyssa swallowed hard, nodding slightly. Her heart raced. "I'm not ready. I don't know if I ever will be." But stepping outside, the air buzzing with activity, she realized there was no turning back. The heels clicked decisively against the pavement. The world waited, and it did not see Ethan. It only saw Alyssa. Inside the plaza, people's heads turned instantly. Alyssa felt dozens of gazes piercing through her, some curious, some admiring. Each glance made her stomach twist. The thrill was intoxicating, but so was the shame. Then she froze. Someone recognized her. A group of teenagers from school, laughing and chatting, suddenly paused as their eyes fell on Alyssa. One of them, a boy who had once mocked Ethan relentlessly, stepped forward, jaw dropping. "Ethan, is that really you?" he stammered, confusion and disbelief battling across his face. Alyssa's heart skipped a beat. Her body froze. Panic surged, threatening to make her collapse, but Lila's hand on her back grounded her. "She is Alyssa," Lila whispered.
Say it.
"She is hers. Remember that." With a trembling breath, Alyssa lifted her chin, forcing her voice to emerge in a soft, controlled tone. I'm Alyssa now. That's who I am." The boy blinked, unsure whether to laugh, stare, or retreat. The group murmured among themselves, some whispering admiration, some curiosity, all of them caught in the tension between the old Ethan and the new Alyssa. Lila's hand remained firm on Alyssa's shoulder, guiding her through the interaction. Every correction, every subtle adjustment of posture, every whispered reminder reinforced her dominance and Alyssa's growing dependence. By the time they continued walking through the plaza, Alyssa's legs were trembling. Her cheeks burned, a mix of humiliation and a strange, dangerous thrill coursing through her. Compliments came from strangers. "She's gorgeous, absolutely stunning, such grace." Each word forced her further into the identity Lila had crafted for her. The internal conflict intensified. "I'm Ethan, but the world only sees her. And every moment, I feel a part of me slipping away." In a quiet corner of the plaza, Lila stopped Alyssa, letting her rest. "See what attention can do," Lila said softly, brushing a loose strand of hair behind Alyssa's ear. "It humbles her, but it also awakens her power. She is learning to thrive in it." Alyssa's hands trembled in her lap. She wanted to escape, to run home, and be Ethan again. And yet, the attention, the admiration, the fascination she saw in others' eyes, it pulled at her in a way she could not resist. As Alyssa's phone buzzed again, she saw a new message. "I know who she is, and I want her. Can you protect her, or will she be mine?" Alyssa's chest tightened, breath catching. The outside world was no longer just observing, it was threatening, testing, and claiming her. And she realized that no matter how much Lila guided her, some forces were beyond control. The line between Ethan and Alyssa was disappearing faster than ever, and the ultimate test of her identity loomed closer. Every stare, every compliment, every whisper threatened to shatter me, and yet I couldn't pull away. The evening air was warm and heavy as Lila guided Alyssa through the crowded streets. Neon lights reflected off glass storefronts, casting colorful patterns across her delicate dress. Every step she took in her high heels felt amplified, each click resonating like a drumbeat in her chest. She was exposed, vulnerable, and aware of every pair of eyes that followed her. Lila's presence was reassuring but controlling, her hand lightly brushing Alyssa's lower back. "She is beautiful, irresistible, and tonight, she will learn just how much power she has and how dangerous it can be," Lila whispered. Alyssa's pulse raced. The thrill of attention she had been learning to embrace clashed violently with shame. Ethan, I can't be doing this. But she feels real. She feels alive. They entered a chic lounge, filled with dim lighting and soft music. People's eyes immediately gravitated toward Alyssa. Whispers followed her. Who is she? She's gorgeous. And subtle smiles met her gaze. Then a young man, leaning casually against the bar, caught her attention. He stared, admiration and desire flickering across his face. Alyssa froze. Her heart thumped violently. The thought of interaction made her palms sweat, yet part of her ached to feel the attention. Lila leaned close, her voice soft but commanding. She is Alyssa. Let her feel it. Every glance, every word, is hers to wield. She will either crumble or embrace it. Alyssa's lips parted, voice trembling. Hi, the words sounded alien in her own ears, soft, high, undeniably feminine. The man smiled, leaning slightly closer. You're incredible, he said, voice low and warm. The combination of desire, attention, and Lila's silent control overwhelmed Alyssa. Her knees shook, hands clutched at her dress, and tears pricked the corners of her eyes. I'm not ready. I can't. But the adrenaline and thrill were intoxicating, feeding a dangerous curiosity she couldn't resist. Lila's hand pressed reassuringly on her shoulder. She is hers. She is learning. Every moment of discomfort strengthens her. Every tremble reminds her who she is becoming. Alyssa's voice broke as she muttered. I don't know if I can do this. You can, Lila replied softly, almost tenderly.
She can.
And she will. Every glance, every touch, every whisper is training her for what she is meant to be. The young man extended a hand. Can I sit with you? Alyssa's heart raced. Every instinct screamed to refuse, to flee to the safety of her old self. And yet, she felt an undeniable pull toward him, toward the thrill of attention, the intoxicating mix of shame and fascination. She nodded slightly, voice soft, hands trembling. Lila's eyes met hers, approving, guiding silently. Stay. Embrace her. As he sat, the conversation was a delicate dance, compliments, subtle flirtation, and glances that lingered too long. Alyssa felt herself unraveling, shame and desire clashing violently within her. Just as she began to feel a dangerous confidence, her phone buzzed again. A new message illuminated the screen. You're hers now, but can she resist me? Or will she surrender completely? Alyssa's chest tightened, breath catching. The outside world wasn't just watching, it was challenging her, daring her to surrender fully. And she realized, with a shiver of fear and thrill, that the final test of her identity was approaching faster than she could imagine. Every step I took felt like walking a razor's edge. One misstep, and the world would see everything I'd tried to hide. The next day, Lila informed Alyssa that she had arranged a special challenge, a public scenario designed to test her obedience, composure, and fully embrace her new identity. The location: a bustling mall with dozens of witnesses, a place where a misstep could lead to exposure, shame, and humiliation. Alyssa's heart pounded as she looked at the carefully chosen outfit, a delicate pastel dress, high heels, and subtle accessories. The ensemble highlighted her feminine curves without being overtly provocative, yet every element screamed attention. Today, she is not allowed to falter, Lila said firmly, adjusting Alyssa's hair and brushing a loose strand behind her ear. Every glance, every comment, every whisper, you respond exactly as I've taught her. Obedience is survival. Do you understand? Alyssa swallowed hard, voice trembling. Why, yes. Lila's hand on her shoulder was firm but reassuring. Good. Now, let's begin. Stepping into the mall, Alyssa felt dozens of eyes immediately drawn to her. Whispers, smiles, and lingering glances followed their every movement. Her heels clicked against the polished floor, each step a reminder of the unfamiliar, fragile identity she now carried. A group of teenagers near a kiosk laughed softly as they noticed her. Wow, she's so pretty, one whispered. Another nudged his friend.
Who is she?
I've never seen her before. Alyssa froze, cheeks burning. The thrill of attention clashed violently with humiliation. Lila's guiding hand was steady, her voice whispering in her ear. She notices them. Every whisper is a lesson. Every stare is training. She will survive this or crumble. The real test came unexpectedly. A boy, smirking and clearly recognizing her from school, stepped forward.
Ethan?
Wait, is that you? His voice carried shock and ridicule. Alyssa's stomach flipped. Her knees shook. Panic rose in her throat. The world she had been building, the careful persona of Alyssa, threatened to unravel in an instant. Lila leaned close, whispering, "She is Alyssa now, not Ethan. Obey her, respond as her, and you will survive this. Hesitate, and the world will see him again." Alyssa drew a shaky breath, forcing her voice to emerge in a soft, feminine tone. I'm Alyssa now. That's who I am." The boy blinked, confused and awed, while Alyssa's cheeks burned with humiliation and a dangerous thrill. She realized that the act of commanding attention, of maintaining her persona under scrutiny, was both terrifying and intoxicating. As they continued walking through the mall, Alyssa faced continuous challenges, lingering stares, whispered compliments, and subtle gestures that tested her composure. Her hands trembled, her body quivered, yet Lila's steady guidance kept her anchored. By the time they reached a cafe inside the mall, Alyssa felt both exhausted and exhilarated. Every ounce of shame, fear, and humiliation had been transformed into a raw, magnetic presence she could wield, but only under Lila's control. Just as Alyssa began to catch her breath, her phone buzzed again. A new message flashed. "She's perfect, but is she truly hers? Or will the world claim her first?" Alyssa's heart raced. The outside world was no longer passive. It was testing her limits, daring her to surrender fully, and she realized that the next challenge would not only define her identity, but also determine whether Ethan was truly gone forever. "I thought I could control it, thought I could survive, but when the door closed behind us, everything I'd held together shattered." The mall had been merciless. Every gaze, every whispered compliment, every lingering stare had chipped away at Alyssa's fragile control. By the time they returned home, her legs ached from heels, her chest burned from racing emotions, and her mind spun with conflicting thoughts. She sank onto the couch, heels still on, fingers clutching the fabric of her dress. Tears pricked her eyes, hot and insistent. I can't do this. I'm not her. I'm Ethan, but everyone sees her. Everyone." Lila followed silently, observing her collapse with a mixture of satisfaction and care. "She's tired," Lila said softly, approaching Alyssa and kneeling before her. "It's okay to feel overwhelmed. That's part of her transformation." Alyssa shook her head violently, voice cracking. "No, I can't. I can't keep pretending. They see me, they see Alyssa, not me. I'm losing myself." Lila's eyes softened, but the steel beneath her tone remained. "You are not losing yourself. You are becoming her. Every tear, every tremble, is part of the process. Look at me, Alyssa. She is inside you, waiting. She is strong. And she will survive this, stronger than Ethan ever was." Alyssa's hands trembled in her lap. "But I don't know if I can. I'm scared of liking it, of wanting their attention." Her voice faltered, revealing vulnerability she had tried to suppress. Lila reached out, gently cupping Alyssa's face. "That's natural. Desire, fear, excitement, shame. They are all part of her. And she will learn to harness them. She will learn that it's okay to enjoy being called beautiful, admired, even desired. That doesn't make her weak. It makes her powerful." The words struck a chord deep inside Alyssa. She felt herself trembling, not from fear alone, but from a strange, forbidden thrill. Am I enjoying this? The thought made her stomach twist, her pulse quicken, and yet she couldn't deny the truth. Lila continued, her voice a mix of warmth and command. "Look at yourself in the mirror, Alyssa. Really look. See who you are becoming. She is lovely, captivating, and she is yours to control. Ethan is gone. She is everything now. Alyssa rose shakily, moving toward the mirror, hands clutching the edges. Her reflection stared back at her, soft, delicate, undeniably feminine. The blush on her cheeks, the shine in her eyes, the subtle curve of her lips, it was her face, but not Ethan's. And yet, in some terrifying, intoxicating way, it felt like her own. She whispered, voice barely audible. She is me now. Lila stepped behind her, hands resting gently on her shoulders.
Yes.
She is yours. And the world will see her, respect her, desire her. You will survive this, Alyssa. You will thrive. Alyssa's phone buzzed once again, a message from the mysterious outside watcher flashing across the screen. She's beautiful, but she belongs to me too. Are you ready to lose her completely? Alyssa's breath caught. The private collapse had revealed the depth of her transformation, but the external threat loomed larger than ever. She realized, with a shiver of fear and anticipation, that the final stages of her identity struggle were fast approaching, and she might never return to Ethan again. Every eye was on her. Every heartbeat echoed in her ears, and for the first time, she realized the world would never let her be just Ethan again. The morning sun poured through the tall windows, casting warm light across Alyssa's room. Lila stood by the doorway, holding a sleek invitation, a high-profile fashion event in the city, an audience of hundreds, cameras, social media influencers, and strangers all waiting to see her. She will walk among them, Lila said, her tone firm but gentle. And tonight, the world will see exactly who she is. Every stare, every whisper is hers to handle. Are you ready, Alyssa? Alyssa's stomach twisted. She had faced crowds, whispers, and temptation, but never anything like this. Every fiber of her being screamed both fear and anticipation. I think I am, she admitted, voice quivering. Good. Then let's prepare, Lila said, guiding her to a room full of dresses, heels, and makeup. Hours passed in meticulous preparation. Lila adjusted her hair, guided her makeup, and coached her posture, speech, and gestures. Alyssa looked at herself in the mirror, barely recognizing the reflection. Delicate, stunning, undeniably feminine. Her pulse quickened, a strange thrill mixing with anxiety. You are ready, Lila whispered, placing a hand on her shoulder. She is beautiful, commanding, and she is yours to control. The event hall buzzed with activity. Cameras flashed, guests chatted, and every face seemed to flicker with curiosity and anticipation. As Alyssa stepped onto the red carpet, the room fell silent. Every eye was drawn to her. Whispers spread quickly. She's incredible, absolutely stunning. I've never seen anyone like her. Each word pierced Alyssa like a dagger and warmed her like a caress. Then she felt it, the lingering stare of a man who had been observing her since the entrance, the mysterious watcher who had been sending messages, challenging her, testing her. Every nerve in her body screamed both fear and desire. Lila's hand on her back grounded her. She is hers, Lila reminded her. Every gaze is training. Every compliment strengthens her. Alyssa walked gracefully down the carpet, heels clicking, dress swaying perfectly with each step. She felt exposed, vulnerable, and powerful, all at once. Her old identity as Ethan seemed to dissolve with every compliment, every whispered admiration. A photographer leaned closer, camera flashing. Absolutely gorgeous, stunning presence. Alyssa's knees trembled, but she forced a soft smile, voice melodic. Thank you. The mysterious watcher approached, and Alyssa's chest tightened. His gaze was intense, assessing, almost claiming her. Lila whispered, remember who she is. Obey her. Command attention. Survive. Alyssa's pulse raced. Every word, every glance, every touch threatened to overwhelm her. And yet, beneath the fear, a forbidden thrill coursed through her veins. I am Alyssa and the world sees me. Just as the spotlight focused fully on her, A familiar voice from her past rang out in the crowd.
Ethan?
Is that really her? Alyssa froze, heart hammering. The room seemed to close in around her, and for a terrifying, exhilarating moment, she realized that the final battle for her identity had begun. The room held its breath, and every step I took toward the spotlight made me question who I really was. The hall buzzed with whispers and camera flashes. Alyssa's heart raced as she stood frozen on the red carpet. Her reflection in a nearby glass door caught her off guard, a perfect, delicate young woman staring back, yet beneath it, Ethan lingered in shadows. Then she heard it, a familiar voice cutting through the murmurs.
Ethan?
Is that really her? Her stomach dropped. Faces turned, some curious, others confused. Recognition pierced her like a cold wind. Every step, every word, every graceful gesture she had rehearsed now felt like a fragile facade threatened by exposure. Lila's hand on her shoulder steadied her. She is Alyssa. You're not him anymore. Look at yourself. Command attention. She will survive this. Alyssa's voice trembled as she whispered,
I'm
Alyssa now. The boy from her past stepped closer, disbelief painted across his face. You're beautiful. But is this really you? Every instinct screamed to run, to strip away the heels and dress, to retreat into Ethan's safety. And yet, something in the thrill, the stares, the whispers, the undeniable attention, rooted her to the spot. I am Alyssa. They see me. They admire me. Maybe I want them to. Lila leaned close, whispering firmly, she is yours to control. Every look, every word, is hers to master. Let them see her strength, her beauty. Alyssa lifted her chin, drawing a slow, steadying breath. She walked forward, each heel clicking decisively. Compliments flew, soft murmurs, whispers of admiration, but with every word, her inner conflict intensified. The old Ethan lurked beneath the surface, whispering doubts. Alyssa pulsed with pride, embarrassment, and an intoxicating thrill. Then the mysterious watcher emerged from the crowd, sending a shiver down her spine. His eyes held a challenge, a claim, and a desire she couldn't ignore. She belongs to me too, can I resist? Alyssa froze for a heartbeat, Lila's hand still guiding her. She can, Lila whispered, if she trusts herself, if she trusts her transformation. Obedience is power. Acceptance is freedom. Every gaze felt like fire on her skin. Every whisper felt like both judgment and praise. Alyssa's body quivered, but she forced herself to smile, letting her feminine grace dominate the chaos around her. The boy from her past stepped closer again, tentative, intrigued. You've changed completely. Alyssa's throat tightened. I'm Alyssa now. This is who I am. The words rang true, not just to the world, but to herself. The old self flickered and strained against the transformation, but with Lila's steady control, Alyssa felt a new strength emerging, a power in beauty, grace, and feminine identity that was intoxicating and undeniable. Just as she began to feel mastery over herself and the room's attention, a sudden gasp erupted from the crowd. A well-known influencer had recognized her, and the camera flashes intensified. The world now had a record, a viral moment, and Alyssa realized there was no turning back. The choice was no longer hers alone.